Well, me and my wife had just got on the subject here just a while ago, and I know I've put some things out here quite a few times, but I needed something to talk about today, and I just happened to. Um, what we got in there? Oh man, hungry. Um, but no, we're just kind of talking about a couple things, and I hate these darn game things. There we go. But no, we just I I just thought, maybe there's some people out there like me, or um, maybe like my wife or something, that maybe might have to one day call for help. Might have to, you know, risk someone's significant other coming in the house that don't normally otherwise come in your house, such as some woman. Trust me, I hate to put this out here, but it's happened to me once, and I don't want it happening again. But it, and later, the person did apologize, but point being, I told my wife earlier, I said, well, if you can't have the smallest of subjects to talk about, maybe it wasn't the best subject, but it certainly wasn't the most sensitive. And by no means when I tell you what happened, you'll understand. Okay, my wife unknowingly had this woman, the same woman that came up here, this Tiffany woman, came up here on this call that was not needed. I mean, I've said to my wife, and I don't talk to Eddie Jewell. I don't talk. I've heard his name before, but I haven't talked to him probably only about maybe one or two times, if it was very brief. But he works for, the fire department. And I have said before, I'd hope that people keep their, female counterparts, if they're not needed, just do something, keep them outside if it's cold, they can be in one of these vehicles or something. Or whatever, I mean, ain't trying to be mean, but it now I told my wife, I said, this person's gonna go around telling everybody that we upset her now, and now I'm gonna have another person that I didn't count on coming in this fucking house, this apartment, or whatever you want to call it. Who cares? Now I've got another for life. Now I've got somebody who I now know his feelings are hurt just in the slightest. You can't talk. I developed that after actually this crack whore left. Any other subjects besides talking about drugs and drinking and all that, you'd have been fine. But this, or trying to tell me it's somebody that she knew got raped or something. Those subjects are not supposed to be talked about in front of people. And I don't know whether a person's been raped or not. How am I supposed to react to that? Derek, you're supposed to call the police, right away if it happened. But what if they asked me, said, well, did this person tell you this? Did you see this? What do you know about it? And you know what I would have to tell that person? I have no knowledge of anything. So was it in the right sense? This is a different person than the person we're talking about now. This is the crack whore, as I call her. Oh, Susan. But the one we had up here for 3 weeks, this thing, I mean, it could have been a 9-day difference if the subjects were kept to a minimum. If if there wasn't so much in the way of kids. I didn't know that. I thought me and my wife were getting a good deal here. I didn't know she's going to drag kids and all up here and freaking want to move all her junk in. I mean, I had the idea if it was just clothes, a few clothes, and maybe a few items for her to use, I'd been all right with it. But godly dang, I mean, the whole 9 yards, and going over here and getting all this junk that her parents obviously had, had already over. She had that place she was living at. She wasn't homeless. A homeless person lives out in the fucking woods or in a shed somewhere, and maybe locked up from society. This person had 2 parents that was trying to help her and trying to show her how to be, but they were also not helping her by doing that, because at the same time you're also making her very reliable on you. You're sending 2 very different messages. In one sense, it's a good thing, but in the other sense, it might not be such a good idea, because then that's all she knows. Y'all have even said, I wish you'd get a car. I wish you'd do this. I wish you'd have done that. Well, did she? No. She blew it on toys. She blew the money that she should have bought a car with before we met her. She should have bought a car. Point, made. I mean, simple. It's simple. I mean, there's no other, if you're getting these little checks from the government, and you're getting these little stimulus packages, use it for something, that you need it for. Buy you some clothes, buy you some, stuff you need. Pay your bills off. If I had anything, and I'm not trying to rule out anybody in the near future, but it just blows my mind. These 2 instances right here are 2 that I didn't have 3 years ago, not even 2 years ago. And now I got to put up with both of them going out there and saying all these bad things that I certainly am going to deny. And I am going to fight the battle on now, because I don't have any other way to be. Because I know that both of these situations were uncalled for. And at the same time, I will say that, yeah, we were trying to be nice to this certain person, and we were trying to, but that's what we get for having a heart of gold for somebody we didn't know. We thought we were just getting somebody that was very appreciative and was going to be nice, kind of go along with our way of looking at things. But that's what we also get for not knowing anything personally about it. Where her mindset's at. Forget about what she has in common, but just her mindset, where it was at, where her mind was at when all this stuff was going on that she made happen by the choices she made that she wouldn't take responsibility for right off. Then, like I said, I can't even deal with a fucking fireman's wife. I can't even deal with anybody's wife. I don't even want to. I want to make that clear. I don't even want to look at them. I don't even want to stare at them for anything, for any reasons. I don't even want to talk to them. At the end of the day, I told my wife, it's not mine or her responsibility to have conversations with these people's wives. At the end of the day, unless I'm dead laying out here on the floor, no one should be working on nobody or saying anything to anybody when all I had to have done was simple, find that breaker and cut that thing off that night. That's all that had to be done. And they had that, they were getting there. But then to allow this this person's wife in the house, which I will make sure I let them know in a nice way. If I ever need any more help I'll tell them what's happened up in here and just tell them I'll have my wife go outside or something. Because you know,
Eddie Joel's been a really good.
it's
He's going to help me with that report on
it's
this profit.
and but like I said, there ain't nothing I can do. You know, this stuff's already happened, but I can do something about it in the future tense. And I can come out here and warn people. And like I said, the Boys and Girls Club or the Girl Scout clubs and all that, it's all fad. It's a joke. They don't need help. These down here don't anyway.
That's why my name will want the fair.
But I mean, my wife and I both saw what happened to her at the fair 2 years prior. This woman who has no knowledge of me before then, or this Tiffany woman, has no knowledge of me before this night, had no prior dealings with me. And the only time she dealt with my wife was one particular day when my wife wanted to go down there to where she just happened to be sitting. And my wife is now quoted as saying, well, I remember her saying she's really easy to get upset. Well, how do you end up with a job? If you're that easy to get upset, you don't need a job. You can't have that mentality and last. If we can't talk to you about a subject and get a simple yes or no answer without you getting up and being upset, how does anybody marry you? How does your family take the fact that strangers put up with you? How does your family have to talk to you? Do they have to censor every freaking thing that they say to you? I know she's come out over the phone and apologized, but still, it does hurt. It hurts me because that should never happen. I told my wife, I said it'd be one thing if it was a kid, a little kid or something. I could understand that more, that being the case. But we're talking about a grown adult woman. Grown adult woman. How do you even begin to have a person that has their feelings so hurt by the littlest things? I mean, my God, I might upset her if I told her my favorite colors, for God's sake. Or if I didn't like the ice cream that she liked. Oh my God, could you imagine that? Just to throw out examples. I just hate to know that somebody's feelings would get hurt over stupid shit like that. I mean, I know the subject wasn't in that, but I'm just giving out examples. I don't know how in the world you put up with somebody if you can't talk to them in person. I don't do things over the phone unless I have to. But if I was going to make the best of impressions, yeah, Travis Tritt, thank you for that song. Good song, by the way. But if I'm going to make the best of impressions on somebody, I want to make sure that I can, first of all, tell them some things that wouldn't hurt them. I want to be able to tell them that what I've been through, it's not nowhere near as bad as most people. But there are things in there that somebody might just have a problem with. Me being handicapped, me not working, me not driving, or who I'm married to, or whatever. I mean, if I wanted to be, which I don't, but let's just say, I want to be me and my wife, just all of a sudden, we're not going to, but just for hypothetical sake, let's just put us a situation out here and said we had a change of heart and we wanted something to do with a married couple. And then I go out and my wife goes out and we had this whole thing planned out and everything's going good until a certain thing gets brought up, which in all likelihood could be even the smallest of things, like I said. And you have the same situation happen here that we had up here. And like I said, once something's done, it's too late to take it back. Sorry doesn't cut it, you know. It just means that you shouldn't have said that, and you shouldn't have acted that way outside. You could have handled that so much better. I just don't know how anybody deals with you or anybody like you out there. I would not dare want to be sitting in front of none of these kind of people, as they will offend me really fast. Feelings are there in every person, but a mind does not show that easy. And if any woman out there has a problem with me stating these facts, and with me telling y'all, most of y'all probably just like this one, well, then that means y'all need to change. That does mean the ones that are like this needs to change, because it's something so simple. A one-word answer is all it would take. And I cannot believe that, things like that'll happen. But it does, because y'all just not, like I told my wife, it's some kind of mental chemical imbalance issue you've got or something. You don't want to address, you don't want to fix, you don't want to toughen up, you want to be weak, you want to be, and I'm not talking about physically. I tell you, but on the inside, y'all are just too weak-minded. You can't think straight. You can't. Most of you that I've laid my eyes on, they all know who they are. I can't deal with it. I told my wife earlier, there's no way. She couldn't begin to meet somebody outside there, and they do her like this crack whore did, or like, some of these others try to do, which, like the pig. And I told her we just need to stop all that shit, because like I said, if we had something to do with you and you're doing it for both of us and offering something, that's different. But you're not offering anything. You're just coming out of the way to make yourself feel good on purpose when we're trying to get in there and shop and do things that we need to do. And I told my wife earlier, that's why I didn't speak to that one that said hi to me, because I was in a bad mood and I don't want it to rub off that I'm in a bad mood. I'd rather just stay quiet. I'm naturally normally quiet unless my wife's talking to me anyway. So no, it's not uncommon for me to stay quiet. I talk probably more at the house than I do anytime. At any time or anywhere, I can assure you that I'm almost convinced we've got all this stuff, had all this thing worked out, planned. I've been doing it in almost 4 years. Had high hopes, but every day that goes by, every second, every minute, every hour that goes by, it's just that much longer. It's just that much less of time that we're going to have. And I'm afraid we bought something and spent all this time on it. That special ring we put out here and all this other stuff we bought, I'm afraid it's never going to get us anywhere. I'm afraid it is going to sit here until there's, Not gonna be nothing. And I guess, I hate to get rid of it, and then once I get rid of it, I know it'd be somebody. And then it said, well, Derek, we should have kept that. You know what I mean? So it's damned if you do, it's damned if you don't. Either way. Because the minute I wanted to go sell this somewhere, I'm not going to get what I paid for it out of it. So it wouldn't do me no good to go get something less than what I put out to buy it in the first place. I'd rather wait it out, give it its due. And at least knowing that we gave it to somebody that appreciates the whole deal. Because anytime I felt like doing that, I wouldn't get nowhere near what I paid for what me and my wife paid for it in the beginning for this special unicorn bestie thing. So I'm willing to just stick it out. But I had just have the feeling, because of what's out here, especially what's come to my door, I don't have much positive things in that regard to say, because I'm afraid a lot of these people out here in this county and in this area out here is just the same way. The only thing is everybody ain't coming up to the door. Most of them's buying a telephone and everything else. No, there's another one that my wife spoke of. Supposedly goes to this little church down here, works for the police department, and I'm gonna make it on record. I don't want to see that neither. I don't want to see her either, because Nanny doesn't give me no trouble, but I don't want to see her either. Well, I don't want to see her either, because her butt will get hurt. I mean, I don't want. See, that's the thing. Yeah, when I was little, I looked cute, and I guess I had pretty blue eyes. I will go out here and I will say this: I used to get compliments. I don't anymore. I'm the size I am. I'm not that fat, but I'm what I am. And I don't put myself over. I don't think I'm cute. I don't think I'm hot. I don't think I'm sexy. All those words. I don't think I'm any of those. But the problem of it is, as if my voice or anything that I say, because I'm so direct in my response, and I don't look at the ground, I look straight at you when I'm talking to you. I don't look left, don't look right, don't look down at the ground, straight at a person. If you cannot, in its simplest, and I mean, it's a nice warning to give people, and that's what I'm saying. I will do that from now on. If you're going to come up in here like that, I just don't want to waste our time, and I definitely don't want to waste your time sitting here any longer than a minute or less. I told my wife earlier, I hate to have to do that, but it's going to be a lot quicker, a hell of a lot quicker than 2 or 3 weeks the next fucking time if that happens. I'm hopeful that it don't. I really hope it don't. But with everybody's track records and how everybody has been treating her, and how that they now, and after they think about it a little while, they just try to come back and they try to say they're sorry. Well, Derek, it's supposed to be, if I'm a kid and I'm getting my ass whooped for something I did wrong, that's normal to do in the family sense. Like I said, I would like to see some of these people I'm talking about and see how they dealt with them on a daily basis. How do they deal with these butt-hurt people all the time? I would say if my solution would be you never speak to them. I mean, you never even talk to them, and you just Ignore them half the time. It'd be the best way to do it for me. I mean, talking to them doesn't seem to do no good at all. And that is just ridiculous. My wife and I both sat here and agreed on that. That you can't have that happen. And it's sad. But this is kind of the world we're living in. Past the 1980s, we're having, we're having this social issue, and I just had to come out here and kind of re-put some things out here. I just got through telling a lady on a site today, that was on one of them sites that me and my wife was on. It's only one that I can kind of get on there every now and again and put something out. But I was telling her, well, I put our numbers out on many of them's things, and they won't come out here and won't do nothing. They won't text you on the phone. They won't call you on the phone. They won't do anything. I don't have time to sit there and do that all day on the internet stuff. I have time for that, but I'd rather make time to do it in person. I'd rather make time to do it in some other fashion. I don't like apps. I don't like things of that nature. I don't even like it when people come out here on YouTube and start trying to talk and then stop in mid-sentence and don't continue the conversation. I hate that. You know, they'll start to say hi or something of that nature, and then all of a sudden they disappear. I ain't gonna change the way I view people like this. And as you can tell, I don't give 100 chances out. I don't continuously put up with stuff. If I think there is room to have a heartfelt apology and I think it would do you any good, then I'll go that route. If I think you're to that standard, we could have a million small things over the years happen, but it's up to you whether you can sit down there and compromise and do the things you know you need to do. If it's our fault, we should do the same thing. But if you can't, if we can't ever meet at 50% with a person, and they realize that pretty well right away that, hey, I need to go do something about this. I mean, we've had our families do this. You know, I tried to sit my wife's down, and she said, well, Derek, if you'd have met them 30 or 25 years ago, it'd been different. I said, well, or 20 years ago, you know, it might have been different. Well, I can't help that. You know, I've been married for 10 years to her, and I ain't seen anything on either side be any good. I mean, they've lost touch. They've lost their need to be nice. They don't have a nice thing to say about anything that we like or watch or do. Everybody, from family to anybody we meet out here, it's always somebody else's fault for why we get treated this way. And that's all I know to tell you, because it's certainly in ours. You know, like I said, we have many things that we go through, but we're not here to hurt people. But obviously, you all need more than what's able to be the biggest part of you do. Like I said yesterday, I hurt somebody's feelings over a comment or a couple of comments I made. By being brutally honest with them. You know, I come in back and I said some things back, and then I just blocked. I turned the thing off where he couldn't comment back, so I'm gonna stay on there all night. But I was making truthful observations of his more than lackluster performances on the video game thing he was doing. I could hear it and know what I was hearing was not him giving his best efforts to win those matches. And even one of them, he admitted to wanting to lose on purpose. I don't give a damn if it's 3 belts, 10 belts. I don't care what they offer me. I'm gonna fucking take it. I'm gonna win every damn belt. I don't give a damn if that's their problem if they do that. They shouldn't have made the storyline that easy. But anyway, yeah, that's why I can't. Like I said, keep talking to nobody. Had this. We had a guy out here and was out here just talking to ourselves, not really expecting anybody to chat. My wife misunderstood that she thought he was saying one thing and she thought he was saying another, or however you want to say it. Things got twisted up and turned out to be somebody 2 years old. I thought, we was just talking. I don't know what we was talking about before he came on there. But anyway, we was just seeing how everybody was. Back when we thought maybe a few people would come out here and actually come out here and talk. But instead they want to give, people like him want to give us fucking shit that wouldn't work. These people passing you up, not even talking. Well, I'm on that site. Well, how do you get on there and actually talk if they don't allow you to talk? Yeah.
Us versus the twins. Baseball twins. It's a pretty good movie, too.
But, no, that's why generally we don't come out here much.
No, because I get upset every time somebody starts talking.
And
they turn me down.
Because they don't finish what they start. And oh, hi, honey. Here, let her take over. There you go.
Good morning, people. I'm just wanting to come out here and say I agree with my husband on things. Because it does hurt. It does hurt that people don't understand who we are and what we feel on the inside. Well, if you really know what we're feeling, you won't be screwing us around, I'm tired of it. I'm trying not to get upset, trying not to run out the door. I can talk to my man like my husband said, earlier in the bathroom. He said, you're not like most women. You're not running out the door. You're not yelling and screaming and fussing
over every little
thing, subjects. And he said he can talk to me, He said, I understand where he's coming from. Because he's been married to me for 10 years, He understands and I understand him, If I get upset, I'll come to him. I'll talk to him, but, I've been having a rough week. I had money stolen from me from the pig and stuff. And I just had a rough week. That's why I've been trying not to get on here as much, because I've been having a rough week. I don't want to take it out on people on here think I'm taking it out on them when I'm not. Every time I get on here, or if my man gets on here, nobody chats, nobody chats off of here. I put our numbers out here, and I thought, well, looking for a unicorn bestie, but it's hard. Like I was saying, it's hard when you're married, and I understand that now.
Well, it's not something. I was gonna say it's not something that most married couples look for, but it is a lot more common than you think.
Yeah.
But I just told her, well, like I said earlier, you can't just bring anybody up here.
No, you can't.
And if she thinks if she don't know them no better than I do, you know, then it might be a different situation if she knew somebody that was not married and kind of in our age range or a little bit younger than that. It don't matter, as long as they're over 20 years old.
Yeah.
Of age. Then, if she actually sat down and thought, and if she had known something like that or thought about it, hey, we might stand a lot better chance because she'd already have some things that she could tell me, and they'd already be expecting, something to be offered to them versus her just bringing up just somebody because she sees them, and they like the one that I was talking about earlier, crack horror mess. Instead of just bringing them in the house or that other one that came in here and had that other thing, makes a lot of difference.
Yeah. Like I do, the thing I do is play with my baby dolls. I'm a reborn mom. I have 4 reborns. I do laundry, I do dishes during the day. I go for walks, but it's been cold right now, so I don't hardly get out. But I go to thrift stores. I cook dinner, lunch. I'll get up early and I'm in a good mood. Because I go to bed early. It helps me get up early. I let my man sleep in because, there ain't much to do, But you single women on here are scaredy cats. I'm telling you, I know. I know for a fact. If you're not, then prove it. If you're in Decatur, Tennessee, where we're at in our local area, we'll welcome you with open arms. If you're single. But if you're a married couple, stay the fuck away. Please. Because I'm not into married couples. I don't get on Facebook. I don't get on Twitter. I don't get on Instagram. I don't get on no apps. So don't ask. Because if you do, you're going to get blocked. If you ask for money and cards, you're getting blocked. I'm not going to put up your bullshit. I'm not going to put up with nobody's bullshit. It's getting on my fucking nerves. I want a normal relationship where I can be with a single woman who has a job or doesn't have a job. If you have a car, okay. If you don't, okay. We'll find a way to ride with Seth, or, we'll get around that way. But, I know you guys are too up everybody else's ass in Decatur, like the gospers, I call them, gospers. Gospers, if you even try to ruin any relationship we have, I'm going to kick somebody's ass. And I don't care who it is. Or I will stand my ground at you and I will get one. You ain't going to get no words in. I'm going to get down nasty. Because you know what? It's not worth fighting with y'all over bullshit. I'm sick and tired of it, Or if you're a single reborn mom, okay, for example. I know you guys are around here because I see you guys posting videos or giving away free clothes, for, somebody's reborn. Or giveaways, These reborn giveaways are fucking stupid, They're trying to go on their site and describe and ask them for money for reborns, Yeah, you guys are worried about your channels and asking for money for them.
Attention, they can get off that, but when you actually try to get to know some of them off the site or off the thing, they're no better than you and I are at home.
Yeah. But, like my husband said, you guys are just worried about your channels, It's stupid, Come on. Grow up. Act like a pretty woman that I know you can be. And I'm not trying to yell at females on here that are single. I'm not trying to judge you either, so don't think I'm judgmental. Because if you call me judgmental off there, I am going to call your number and I'm going to cuss your ass out.
Somebody's doing that, but it's
You know, I am 34 years old. My husband is 37. We don't want to sit here and rot in our apartment. Getting old, you know. We want to get out there and discover. We don't drive and all that crap. We don't drive. Uh we don't get out hardly until we get our checks, our SSI checks. And we mostly stay home, watch TV, do our house chores, clean up our apartment. Or I'll play with my reborn, my dolls or something. They don't backsass. They don't give me no problems. I can talk to them. I got a doll that's play pal doll. Her name is Catherine. She don't backsass me, or she don't give me no fit. She tells me she loves me and she hugs me. She looks in the house for me to make sure mama's there. She loves her parents. I rescued her. Love doesn't cost a thing.
some.
And there's a song, love don't cost a thing, There's a song that I go by.
Have to have things,
You have to have things in common with us a little bit, or compromise. We'll compromise with you. If you don't like certain things, we'll try to compromise, That's what a relationship is. You compromise with that person that you fell in love with. Like I did with my husband. I compromised. I had a lot in common, but some things that he doesn't like, I like, and he compromises with me. Like with my LMN TV shows, or color, or go on walks. He tries to shave his shoes, so you don't get a hole in them. He said, every Thursday now that I got money stolen from me, he's going to go downtown with me, on Saturday, because he said it's better to have two eyes than one eye, two eyes, one eye on that person, whoever, I'm not going to put her name on her because I already got the law involved. Because I had to get the law involved, I had to make a police report. And they're helping me with it because, I was crying to the police about it. I just, somebody with a good head on their shoulders that don't do drugs, don't smoke, don't care about the internet, don't care about the virus being around here. Somebody beautiful, smart, talented, good looking on the outside and the inside, sweet on the outside and sweet on the inside. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for a beautiful unicorn bestie. Because we both want this. And I really do. Because, I cry to my husband sometimes. I'm like, honey, I really want this. And I will cry to him. I'll wrap my arms around his neck and I'll just cry. I'll cry my eyes out, because I want somebody to go shopping with, giggle, cut up, dance with, play video games with them, play with my dolls with them, I mean, if you don't like some of my dolls, I'll compromise with you. I won't give you no fit. I won't throw a tantrum. I want somebody I could color with, get a coloring book and color, draw with, just cut up and have a good time. And I hate that my husband feels the way he feels because he's a part of me and I feel his pain.
Well, I can't talk.
And like he says, he feels like he can't talk, but he can. He can talk to me without me getting all upset at him, or, he tries to calm me down when I get upset. And I hate that he gets upset, because he's part of me. He's part of my life. And, both sides of the family's treating us wrong. That's why we don't have family and friends. They treat us like we're nobody. They push us away, And I don't want to feel like that no more. I want to be happy. I want to be singing and smiling and waking up to my unicorn bestie, getting up with her and help her with the house chores or help her cook. She could teach me how to cook, because I never had anybody really teach me how to cook. I would put stuff like in the microwave, like soup or something, or, we get meats from the grocery store and we go grocery shopping. We go to Dollar General, Dollar Tree. Sometimes I go to the library when I need to do something important, or I'll go to the pawn shop. Go look around there because I get bored at home because you guys don't want nothing to do. I feel like you have nothing to do with me or him together. You act like you hate married couples. That single women. I'm talking to you. You act like you don't like that we're married. You need to get over that. Be a woman. That's what God made us out of a guy's rib. It says in the Bible, we are made out of a guy's rib. That's how we were made. We were made out of a guy's rib. What is wrong with a married couple? Why can't you single women understand that there's other couples like us out there that's looking for the same thing? I saw it from my own eyes, on the websites, when my husband shows me the websites, there's other people out in this world that are married couples looking for maybe a one night stand or a relationship or a friendship. It's out there. My husband ain't no liar. He is the honest man I've ever married. And he treats me right. He comforts me. He makes me smile. He makes me giggle. He tells me he loves me. I hug him every morning when I get up. I hug him and I tell him I love him because I do. I love this man that I'm with. I love him from the bottom of my heart because, he wasn't like other men that I've been with. Other men that I was with in Ohio didn't treat me right. They were beating me, and accusing me of things I ain't done. I never, ever cheated on the men I was with in Ohio. I never cheated. They accused me of that, and that just hurts. That's stupid. I've been there for everybody attack. I stuck up for you. I fought your battles for you. I wouldn't be a friend to you. You treated me like I was shit. You treated me like I was nobody. I was somebody that, was there for you. And I want you to be there to back me up. Fought for what you wanted. Like I had a best friend, Brittany Benner. We were so close when we were kids. We grew up together. When my dad was friends with her parents. When I would go spend over there, or Erica's. I'd go to Erica's house because she was in a wheelchair, but I would never ever hurt her. I would never. I loved her and her mom like they were like family. Erica was in a wheelchair. I felt so bad. She was black, but, she was sweet. She was nice to me. And I don't have nothing against black people. I have nothing against white people. I don't care if you're mixed, Cajun. I don't care what color you are. As long as you're nice to me, I'm nice to you. If you're mean to me, I can compromise. I can sit down and talk to you about things. If something's bothering you and we get into a little scuffle, we can sit down and talk about it. That's how I was raised. My dad raised me to sit down and talk. If there's something bothering you and it's on your chest, my dad would sit down and talk to me on the porch. He'd go, baby, what's bothering you? Or what happened at work, how was school was, he would always ask me, was school okay? How was your classes, or me and him would watch wrestling or NASCAR, or I would go to work with him, I used to go to work with my dad because I loved spending time with my dad when I was a kid. My mom My mom was working at AutoZone when I was born. I wasn't hardly around my mama. I was a daddy's little girl. I was their first baby, and I want the family to know. I'm not there to hurt nobody. I'm not there to make everybody jealous. I just wanted you to meet my man like, he's special to me. And I wanted you guys to see how special he was. Or, see what he was like in the inside, not what was on the outside. It doesn't matter if he's so posy. He walks so perfect. And, Danny just brightens him up. He's like his daddy. He's sweet. He's kind. He's lovable. He's caring. He is the best husband I could ever have. If something happened to him and he passed away on me, I would still wear my wedding ring and say I'm still married to this wonderful man. And family, you're not going to push him away from me and my life. I'm not going to let you do that. I'm not going to let you push this wonderful man out of my life. He makes me happy. It's just like rest of the family being married. We want something to do, a family gathering. We want to be able to sing and show you what we can do. That's what my man wanted to show you. He wasn't trying to hurt the family. He just wanted to make the family gatherings more fun. He don't want to be just sitting there bored and staring at everybody. And you don't make time for us. And he just wants a little bit of time with you. He wants to meet the rest. Well, he doesn't now, but he did when we first got together. I hit him for a little while because I wanted to see how things were going to go. I didn't want to tell him right away because, I wanted to see how my relationship would went. And, so far, it's been wonderful. It's been great. My marriage is great. I'm with a wonderful, handsome, sexy man I've ever been in Meigs County. I'm from Tampa, Florida, but, I wasn't full raised from Meigs County, and it doesn't matter. He lived here all his life, but, I searched for this wonderful man. I looked everywhere because I had his picture that he gave me, and I still have that picture today. I still have that in one of my boxes, my keepsakes. I have a keepsakes box that I wrote keepsakes on. Pictures, and albums, and it's stupid. I mean, come on, if you're single out here and you are in Mexico in our area, please, darling, I'm begging you, come to our door. We will, if you're single, I will welcome you with warm arms. I would hug you. I will kiss you. I will cuddle with you. I'll do something that makes your world better. The only thing I want to do is cherish you and take you out and buy you beautiful things that you shine out there. I want to make this whole county, Meigs County, jealous that I have a beautiful single woman that's in my life that's going to be like a daughter. I want to make you shine like a shining bright sun. I want to brighten you up. I want to show them that I'm holding hands with you and doing fun things with you. And, I want to be like a teddy bear to you. I want to be a mom to you. If you're single, I want to be a mom. He wants to be an adopted dad. That's what we're trying to get at. We're not trying to be mean, that we don't want married couples because we don't. But there's we don't know how many lives we got left on this earth. like my husband said, if we die and our bodies rot, our body's going to rot in our graves. Our spirit might go somewhere, but we don't care where it goes. Like my husband said, you don't know where our spirits will go, but we don't want to care where our bodies, go, and then when it's our time to go, it's our time to go. We can't fight it. We just go, it's normal, passing away is passing away. I've seen family in my family die, or I heard, they passed away, but that, there's time for grieving for that. But Corn and Bessie, please, sweetheart, from the bottom of my heart, please come to this door. Please, darling, you are beautiful. Please come to our door. I would love to see you and talk to you. Please, darling. I want this so bad. And I'm trying not to tear up because, it's bothering me.
Well,
I don't care if there's a virus up here. I don't care.
All this stuff on the news, all them bulls that they pay attention to, you can't get them away. That's
Please
also
don't worry about the virus.
politics, all the other bull.
We don't care about politics or a virus out here. And you act like your butts are hurting. You don't want to go to the door. You act like you're scared because the virus. Fuck the goddamn virus. Donald Trump screwed up. He's trying to scare people from seeing other people. If he would just kept his goddamn mouth shut, we wouldn't be going through this. He needed to keep his mouth shut so bad. We lost people in that White House, and the president almost got shot. He's lucky that those people didn't shoot him. That's why they got him out of that White House. He don't deserve to be a president. I don't talk about politics, and I won't. We don't do that shit. We don't do apps. We don't do that shit. We don't give out money in cards. You guys are stupid asking for that bullshit. If you got a job, then come on your own. Come down and drive on your own. If you're an indicator, if you're in like Sweetwater or Athens, Knoxville, Chattanooga, Cleveland.
I wouldn't go up.
Well,
the problem is, Knoxville's too far.
Well, Cleveland is too, but
Well, my dad, like I was saying before, my dad wouldn't mind me to go up there, come back and forth, but that's because he's my dad. But
yeah,
trying to get somebody else to drive 20, 25 miles or whatever
yeah.
is another thing. But that's why I'm saying my wife don't try a lot of these other roads out. I don't blame her sometimes.
Because I have knee problems and it's cold.
You never know, but I said maybe if fella changes their walking pattern up, maybe somebody's on one of them roads that we don't normally go up or down.
But baby, I don't want to get lost.
Oh, I know. But
here's my husband.
Oh, okay, you done?
Yeah, there ain't much to talk about.
Well, no, because y'all, like I said, every day that passes by is another day that y'all miss out. I'm trying to. The whole idea behind this originally was for somebody that we thought we had things worked out, and she's so worried about going up there and getting conned and into this money thing that got started up. I understood why she did it at the time, but even I at that time wasn't trying to be mean, but I knew in the back of my mind, and I'd even said it in the nicest of ways, I don't know that that's, the right way to go in so many words, that I feel like it's going to be a trick, I feel like something bad's going to happen. And lo and behold, my thing come true. Because I knew I don't travel. I don't like to travel. Y'all, that's why so many things are in the shape it's in, because y'all do too much of that. Y'all go overseas and want to go all these other places. Is obsessed why the virus got here in the first place, because there was Americans over in another part of the world that shouldn't be in, and there was foreigners probably over and visiting some other thing or wanting to go see something, and then they come back over here and brought all that mess over here. It's either or. We let people from all walks of life over here, and we shouldn't. I think there ought to be a thing where fella say, well, it takes away from the First Amendment. Well, not necessarily. Not when you're trying to protect. You've got 50 fucking states of people in the you've got 50 states. We don't have time to bring all these viruses over here. It's what got it started. It didn't just magically appear over here on its own. It got over here because y'all too busy traveling the world, and that's what I find hard to believe as well. Is as much as I'd love to see, somebody come out and say, man, I like what I'm hearing, and that this is something. I mean, obviously, it had to be somebody that had this sort of thought in their mind. They already kind of had it in their mind, and if it was offered to them, that they would take it, and that they were mentally ready for it, that they were ready to go, no questions asked, just straight up 100%, ready to do it. My wife's kind of gotten these little habits of talking to everybody she sees, and sometimes it's just a thing that she was used to. Whereas me, like she was trying to explain earlier, I was the opposite of that. I believe my way of believing, and it's proved over the years to be successful. And I'm going to explain. My way of dealing with people is not to be a social butterfly, not to go up to everybody that you see next door. I've regretted going over here to Diston's next door, and I waited 6 months. Just to find out all he was a jailbird, a drunk, and everything else. So it was on me, at that time. He's doing better, but I mean, it still doesn't take anything back. Once everything's done, it's done. Well, I was going to wait till I got off. Okay. But no, it's just stuff like that. I think I'm gonna need a bigger bowl.
You need a bigger bowl?
Yeah, that ain't gonna work.
Cool.
It might go over the bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, I just the only thing I can't really compromise on, why I'm on here. Now, if you want to add to it, then be my guest. I will try something out, but if I know it's something I'm not going to like, I'll let you know. But my music is one thing that I really cannot compromise on. So I ain't like one person listening to all this junk that's out here from 2005 onwards or 2010 on up to now. That junk is, I quit listening to music around 2006 or so. So anything up past that, it's practically non-existent for the most part. Every once in a while, somebody might have a song that comes out and makes sense, and they have a good voice. It sounds good, and you can actually make out what they're doing and saying or whatever, and the song makes sense. But I like the stuff that I grew up listening to. Like I said, we listen to varieties of stuff: country, classic rock, pop from the 80s and 90s. There's a little bit of soul in there. Some of them's classified as soul, some of them's disco, so it just depends. But there's some mixture in there. Every once in a while, very few times, there'll be something in hip hop or rap a little bit. Just depends on what it is, who it is, that whole thing. So I mean, but that's really the only thing I won't compromise on. And I certainly won't compromise on anything that I have the fear of or don't, I'm not willing to try. There is those things, and it just physically be impossible. And on top of that, it's the normal things that you could see most people in my position not liking. So if I had to say the perfect thing of what we were hoping for, obviously somebody near home. I can't tell you how true that's going to be. As hard as it is, it could happen. But time's wasting. More time y'all get on here and not finish what you start, that's more time you're wasting. I don't know why the other night one of these came out here and wanted to talk. I don't know why. I don't know. They didn't even have pictures. I said, I don't care for them staying on here for the video content and liking some of the stuff that we have on our playlist. But, we don't go out of our way to ask for y'all's money, y'all's, stuff like that. We don't ask for y'all's, money
Info.
or personal info or if or to see your ID or social security cards. Yeah, if you're with us and kind of like with, as I dubbed her, the crack whore, if you've been up here 2 or 3 weeks or a week and you get to talking about something, it's usually normal. You eventually cross that line. But, you don't just take pictures over the phone and usually have to take many of them. It wasn't normal then, and it's not normal right now. I mean, if you're not a cop, if you're not somebody that has to have that, most time when you get a job, that's the first thing they'll have you bring is something, that shows that. You always have to.
Yep.
But unless you're something like that, I mean, this is what's ruining. It's my wife, again, I mean, she'll straighten it up. She'll straighten things out when she thinks about it a little while, it'll straighten up. I do it all the time. I don't talk to hardly nobody. I mean, I go in there and I get my shit and I get out. If for example, somebody's had a kid that I'm not responsible for, or she's not responsible for, we don't mean to be mean, but we don't care about it. You're not in our circle. You're not important to us. Not saying that the kid's not a good kid and all that good stuff, but we don't desire to get in that. That kind of thing at the pig ain't going to happen again.
No.
We're not going to allow it.
Nope.
And I don't care if me and her have to get like the Rock, put our hand in front of their face.
Yep.
I mean, they're going to be lucky they don't get smacked.
Yeah.
So it takes a clue where you got it. So, y'all will learn that, and there's people out here that knows who they are, and they know what I said the other day. So if they don't want anymore, and don't come up there trying to get in something that you have no business being in. We don't go to your doors, knock on your doors. And desire to want your time. You got family. You got a social circle, so you stay in it. You know? Big deal. Whoopee. You got a couple of kids or whatever. Whoopee doo. Or as it is, whoopee doo dah. You know? I'm not trying to be hateful. But again, it just goes to the point. You're not going to be an essential part of our lives, so what's the big deal? We need something that is 100% ours. If you're going to be here and you want to have a child with someone else, the only thing we expect out of you is to give yourself a mental break once in a while. You know, every parent needs to understand they will need a mental break once in a while. So if their dad's here on earth and he can see his child as he's supposed to, I don't mind talking to him for a brief minute or something, shaking their hand or something. But I get upset when I have to see a mother and a father both neglecting kids by not having the proper things that they're supposed to have to provide the best experience for a kid, because you only get to be a kid once. It's not their fault that they're here, it's your fault. You're just all excited about having a few minutes of pleasure, and once it's done, it's over. Then the real shit starts to kick in, then that's when y'all have the biggest problem. Because then you don't know what to turn to or anything else, and then you're like, well, you know, in the back of your mind, well, I wished I hadn't done that now. But it's too late, and then you have to end up, 18 years of your life. 18 years of your life. If you're 20, you'll be 38. A lot of time has to pass by before things get better again. And then by that time, who knows what might happen, And then you don't have that time to spend out there doing the fun things that you would have gotten to do. Not that I'm saying you don't need kids at all on earth. Of course, you have to have some in order to keep things going. But if you really one of them people that don't need it and can't really, like I can't certainly handle kids that are rowdy and don't have no respect, or the mother telling them I can't or my wife can't. If you're going to be here, that's part of the package. Whether we had them or not, if they're in our house for any length of time, that's as much as your responsibility as it is ours then, because we're taking you in. So, I don't care how old the kid is. Well, I'm trying to eat. I need to talk at the same time. But I don't care if you're 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. I told my wife, I said, I wasn't much older than that one that was talking to me like she's 15. Sitting there telling me, want daddy all the time. Well, all you got to do is look at the person she had the kid with. It's that person's fault. 100%. The mother can't expect the father to do something if he's afraid that he's going to do the same thing that I did to you. He knows you're a mental case. You're not worth arguing and fussing and fighting with. I wish I never seen you or anyone like you, because the morals and the expectations that I have as any person that claims not to be perfect but does the best they can to live up to what is expected on a level of the law. I mean, you can get a speeding ticket, for God's sakes, and not go to jail. Yeah. You can get, you don't have to be perfect, but if you don't pay that ticket, you go to jail. You get a week or whatever it is, and if you don't pay that ticket, you go to jail. So, I mean, there's things out there you could do, or they might be something that you do one time. They might feel sorry for you and give you a second chance. If you get a second chance, don't ruin it, because you ruin not only your reputation, but you ruin the person that trusts you. For some reason or another, they want to give you another chance at getting out there and having freedom. So, but it's up to people. What you do with your life, what you do with it. But I just don't want my wife, thinking that just because they come up to her and they treat her nice, that they're just going to fall head over heels and do the same for me. Because I never thought that, I never really thought that. I know, like I said, she can kind of point out, well, yeah, but we didn't know a lot of things. And had I had, and had it been any other time of day or early enough to where a fella could say, well, if she'd have been able to probably stayed up there and talked to her for a few hours, I don't know what she would have done or what she wouldn't have said, but you kind of need to observe a little bit of somebody first and kind of take things in a more safer direction and not just just cause whatever they say or look like on the outside. I mean, it's two different things. We need the inside to match. We got to have things that line up there. I know it's easy. I've been in that situation too a couple times, and it's hard, but you see something and but then they can completely tear you down from the inside, just based on that they may not want what you want or whatever. So as we're saying, we're not offering this to everybody. This is a one-time deal. First come, first serve type thing. Once it's over, it's over with. It's hard enough to get anything, much less, what she's realized, and what, I kind of knew it was hard, but I mean, that's because I've experienced things, and she was out, her people were out in other parts of the country and out here at all these other states, and she was used to traveling some, or letting her go with them and travel somewhere.
Yeah.
And she met all these people, and most of them were female, and some of them looked better than others. Some of them you couldn't, it's kind of like those celebrities on TV. But just because they look that way doesn't mean they're always the nicest of people, or that they are considerate of what you have in your life at that point. People change just because that's how it goes. That she's telling me, and I mentioned this earlier, she said, well, if you saw them 25, 30 years ago, my people, you would have thought the world of it. Well, I'm sure I would have. But, everybody changes. These people change. I mean, my family did it. My grandmother's done it. Everybody's done it. I mean, you don't stay the same way forever, although I've tried to stay as closest to me as I've always been. But my wife expects, for some reason, I guess, I don't think she does as much anymore, but, she used to always think that when somebody came up to her, she thought, treating y'all nice. Giving y'all, perks and compliments and stuff would mean that y'all were what she envisioned, these nice people. Well, Derek, I've always heard you're supposed to be nice people. Me too. But my parents always told me that it was especially my mother, She didn't tell me not to fight back if I felt like, somebody was being mean to me and picking on me. She always told me to handle it. She didn't want me to come home crying over spilt milk. You know, uh, she didn't raise her sons up that way. Um, like I said, I don't believe that people should hit other people, but if push comes to shove, I don't think a woman is off limits as they think they are. I'm certainly not going to tolerate it, with anybody. I'm not turning my back, on any woman, much less, anyone of any gender. I just have a certain view of that because even at certain times you either have to defend yourself or be or be killed, and I'm not willing to. That's what I'm saying. I'm not willing for any person that believes that you can't hit a woman in certain instances when you need to necessarily, that it's not that you can't, because you certainly can. There are times that my mama's pushed my button one time and she regrets doing it, I can tell you. Because, it's been 10 years now and she ain't pushed my button since. But, she was very combative at times with my dad, and there were some things, and like I said, my mom's got a long track record of some things. It'd be too much to put out through here, but no, just, we have to, be careful. Because, like I said, it's bad enough that people, for some reason, I guess they thought I was Dr. Phil or I don't know. But I'm not. And I'll listen to anything anybody's got to say, but once it's said one time, I want it put up. If we talked about it, we discussed it, leave it alone. If you can't do that, then I'll offer you the door, because I won't continually put it over and keep talking about it, because it does no good. But we got to do better. We got to go back to what we know works. And we've put our numbers out here. We've put everything out here to illustrate this. It's all there. You can go on my profile here. We've done everything. It's at your disposal. Problem is, everybody's gotten used to doing the things that the world does now, and it's not as good as it would be if you saw it my way. I'd like to see a person see things more my way and my wife's way than the way of the world, because the way of the world works these days is not the way you need to be thinking. It's not about elections. It's not about politics. You don't take these people home. That's what I try to tell everybody. Why get so upset at somebody for having an opinion on something that they know a lot more about than most people give us credit for? You don't have to sit there and watch them on the TV. You don't have to go home with these people. The only thing they care about is the immediate family that they got, and their family is the only thing that's going to take up for them, or somebody up there in that office that they've worked in. But as far as we go, we shouldn't concern ourselves with racism. We should not, and I don't. And we shouldn't concern ourselves with all these movements. They are what they are. And I'm not saying none of this stuff doesn't deserve to be out in the world. At the same time, what is put out there in the world most of the time is stuff that's happened so long ago that it's not punishable by law. You only get so long to tell so many things before it runs out in the eyes of the law. You can't have somebody do something back in 1982 or 83 and get punished for it now. It's been too long. It's been 30 some years, by that point. Same thing with Jimmy Snuka. He knew he killed that woman. He wasn't going to tell anything. Vince McMahon even hid it from him. He knew about it, I know. But he did everything that he could to protect Jimmy Snuka. And not until Jimmy Snuka wrote that shit in his book did it get public. And by that time, my God, he was in his goddamn 70s or whatever it was. And, and he was looked like he's about on his deathbed by this point. So, I mean, it doesn't justify talking about it. They already let him off the hook on the way he brought it up. Why would I agree to make a book? Why, you need more money? That's the only thing I could think. Because you have no other reason. And that's what celebrities are. They're glory hounds for camera, go out and buy all this expensive cars and money that money can buy, or the house, the boats and all this stuff. And they need it like a hole in the head. A lot of this stuff they don't need. And it's just for, their eyeballs to light up every day or whatever. And then, just you could do without a lot of that stuff. But no, we just got to do a better job at choosing the ones that we want to greet, or the one person we do want to greet. We need to get it down to that point. And if it comes whether we find it first or whether you find us first, if we need to give you that opportunity, of course, and we will. But we're just trying to throw this out here just so everybody knows that no, it's not about saying 2-letter words or 3-letter words or whatever, hi, hello, whatever, that kind of thing. It's going to take more than that. I understand that's, like I said, just in the store wise, if it's cashiers or something, yeah, that's appropriate. But, you can't just, apparently, fall head over heels for people just because they tell you something. And again, it pulls at a heartstring or two, and you have. I'm basically done with that. Okay. It's all gone.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just we kind of had that happen to us, and I've had it happen to me several times even before my wife come here. But it's not every day that you see a woman or a person of that stature that obviously looks apart from just the average looking person that you see going in the grocery store, and that you could see yourself wanting to talk to them just because of the way they might look, or the way they might just stand out, or at least something stands out about them, or something just, like I said, don't have to be the skinniest person, but at the same time, I want somebody, that's kind of like me and my wife, where they kind of get out there and they play some kind of sports and be at least athletic, have something about them that, we could go out there and explore some things, and somebody simple on our level, not just, because be honest, you can't just move anybody in, and you can't just, let them throw all their stuff in and all that stuff. I mean, it depends on the situation. If you've got a place, one of y'all run across the video, and you say, well, man, I think I can be that person. And if you're that woman out there that knows you can, and you're not going to get bothered by having us around you, or you're not going to be one of these people that goes and tattles to family and what few people you might have in your circle right away. Let us fill you out a little while. Let's get to fill each other out a little bit and see what we're about and see if we can get along first. I'm sure we can, but it's just not a good idea to always tell people right away your business and what's new. I mean, it just doesn't work that way, and I just when we had this last thing up here, she went right out, as quick as she did. What is you just don't need to do that. You need to let time pass a little bit. See what we, depending on situation and how you go about your stuff and how we can fit in and how it all works out. There might be a call for some fast decision or something, but I'd really have to see if that person was like my wife was when she came here, and see that we were serious enough about it. All of us, not just me and my wife, but all that was involved. Was serious enough about it that. But it's just, I know chances are mighty slim. I mean, my wife would stand a better chance. Her and I both would stand a better chance if there's something in front of us out here off the streets. But, we kind of came out here, just kind of didn't know who might see or not see. We don't have premium memberships and all that stuff, but if something changes, on this situation, we'll come out and we'll make a video just in case if there need to be one made. But for the simple fact that somebody could think that it's still up, comment. A lot of times I can't read comments. A lot of times I can't tell who's talking and who ain't and what they're saying. So a lot of times if I don't respond to comments, it's because I can't read it. And again, I'd very much appreciate if they had put their effort into putting a picture up and letting see who the hell they are, not just some picture of whatever's a cartoon or them, one of these dang letters with a background or whatever. Lord, just don't take that much to do. But anyway, I just, I don't know. I mean, it's something in a lot of ways, I regret even doing it, but we're in it this far already. So, I just thought something like a good idea, somebody that showed up out of nowhere, thought they knew what they were talking about. So I had kind of thought, well, hey, it'd be nice if we get away from this family crap, and, but things didn't quite go, as we all know, couldn't go the way we had it thought up, and therefore we can't do anything about that. But so far, there's nobody willing and able, I don't reckon, to give up the stuff on the TV and how they feel about things that they can't control. And of course, like my wife and I alluded to earlier, the feelings of you people getting your butt hurt every time somebody even speaks. I feel like it's going to be, I feel like, and I mean, it goes to a large portion of why I am what I am. I mean, if you speak to anybody nowadays, you could offend them just as easy on any subject now. Lord, after seeing this last couple of illustrations, you know. I mean, I just don't understand y'all willing to get your butt hurt and give up something that might actually be good if you learn how to talk to somebody. If you actually took the time out instead of worrying about the proper English being spelled, you know, y'all need to get your head right somewhere.
Get your head out of your ass.
You know, I mean, I'm not. You know, if you want to be treated like a baby with a bottle and a pacifier and some powder on your butt, you've already had those days. No, I've had them. Everybody knows they've had them. But when you're an adult, you need to get with it. You know, you need to understand that. Yeah, I understand. If somebody you're close to died, you'd have feelings for that person. If there was pets or dogs that you really, really, really liked, I can understand having feelings for that. I can understand a lot of things, but one thing I don't understand is why people want to take religion, race, and politics and news about other social issues, such as the stuff I mentioned earlier about a black cop shooting another black man, or a white man shooting a black man, another white cop shooting another black man, or whatever it is. You know, shit happens every day. I mean, nothing's perfect, and that's why I told my wife, I'm not saying where we live, it's not, nothing ever happens out here. But I'm saying it's very, very few times, and, you know, this stuff that happens out here ain't big enough for Channel 3 and them out here. But if you watch the regular news, Channel 3 local out here, Chattanooga, Tennessee, if you watched in Chattanooga, they've got people almost all the time on there doing that, you know, and that's all they get done. They're talking about, you know, and they'll throw a few local, you know, school things in there or something. And I kind of like local news. Local news, you at least get a little bit of something. Sports, you know, last 5 minutes, I usually tell some sports things or something. But you never hear enough positive stuff. You need to have the negative stuff to have the impact it should. You need to throw in some positive stuff so you can be able to understand the portion. Lord, God damn, get out of here. Lord. But no, you need to be willing to have a little bit of both, and that's why I turn the news off, because there's not enough of both to get your appetite the way it should be. Your mind is not at ease. You're always going around worrying about things you, like I said, you can't control. You can't control the climate change. You can't control what the president does. You know, you think by voting, standing out in the cold and voting for somebody, that really matters. Or showing up at a church event, it doesn't matter. It's just your head count. You're just a waste of time mainly on this thing. And like I said, presidents, they say what they want to say, and they get you. You've got an opinion one way or another, and they get you on one end or one side of the deal, and get you voting one way, and that's your problem. You stick with one side, and then when you stick with that one side, no matter who it is, if you've made your mind up to do that, it's screwed everybody up. But like I've said before, you know, voting is done by the Electoral College. That's what I count. That's what was told to me, and I hear it all the time. But while we're out there, is for the public eye, and so we don't feel bad that we don't get to take some kind of, I guess it makes everybody feel good, you know, the news outlets and all the media especially. Makes them feel good to know that somebody will go out there and waste their time, get out there and fucking cold every 4 years, whatever it is, But that it's just ridiculous when you know it's not really our votes that count. And unless there be somehow be a tie between the electoral colleges or somebody's voting machines tore up and it just happened to be that way about 20 years ago. And Florida was the state it come down to. So they actually legitimately had to go count all the votes that were in Florida that year. And President Clinton at the time got a few more months or whatever it was in office, a few more weeks, whatever it was. So, you know what? That's why I'm so harsh on anything on the news. Because the reporters only give you the narrative of what they want to give you. It's not the most honest opinion. It's just their opinion. I see these people arguing and fussing on CNN and Fox News. I have before. I watch CNN more than I do any of them. But when I have watched it, that's what they do. And they're about to pull each other's brain out. It's like beat them over the head with it or something kind of thing. Like, my gosh, just give your opinion and go on. You don't have to sit there and argue at the signpost. Y'all ain't in the same room anyway. Y'all are out and in some other portion of the world or out there in another state somewhere out in the United States. Why don't we worry with it? Just state your opinion, it's fact, and do it, and you keep it to that point. But anyway, we'll probably, get off here in a few minutes. But, like my wife said, she mentioned about her dolls and things. So, like I said, occasionally she gets on here and sees a couple of you doing that. But, yeah, we just hopefully maybe we can find one that's somebody that's a perfect fit, watches this and sees what we're talking about and understands everything. But like I said, the more time y'all wait, the less time y'all are going to have. So if you're out there and you've seen these videos before and you just, for some reason, pass this up or whatever, and you're that one that well, you just wasted time. Because you could leave a nice comment on here, your number, or you can just take it off you can go on my profile thing here, take mine and my wife's numbers off here, everything's put on here. All you gotta do is go, it says Derek Lehman on it. That's all you gotta do. But anyway, we'll probably get off here now. We'll come out again and give y'all another chance. But we'll talk to you later. Bye.